The best of the morning to you. This is Monday with Friday, preparing you for a better week ahead. Last week, the world mourned the passing of Colin Powell. 2 weeks ago, I began a checklist of items that characterize good leaders. It is fitting to interject that list with a reflection on Powell, as he embodies many of the items on any such checklist. Powell would be remembered as much for his astute military leadership as for his most dishonorable moment as a man and a leader when, as Secretary of State in the Bush 43 administration, he made the case to the United Nations justifying the Iraq War. This, of course, was a most horrible mistake. Many people knew it to be that at the time it was being made. And it shows that even good leaders are not immune to making bad mistakes. Yet, even in the aftermath of that mistake, Powell's mettle as a leader remains prominent. He rose to prominence when, as the commander for the Gulf War, he made the Clint Eastwoodian declaration, first we're going to cut it off and then we're going to kill it. The many reflections, accolades, and tributes depict Powell as a larger-than-life due to his integrity and his excellent strategic thinking, planning, and execution skills. A former director of national intelligence said that Powell won wars because he played by the book, never wanting war unless it was absolutely necessary and there was an exit strategy. Now, effective leaders do take time to imagine the process of especially very difficult actions they must take, and they always seek to have good control over bringing a matter to a timely and reasonable resolution, which is why Powell's participation in beginning the Iraq War, a war which he could not bring through an exit, bothered him for the rest of his life. At some point, Powell, the non-partisan military man, became Powell the partisan, who declined to serve the Clinton administration as Secretary of State, but who acceded to Bush 43's fateful invitation to serve the same office. What a fateful decision. Much can be said about one's moral posture when viewed through the lenses of their political ideology and party allegiance at any specific point in time. Powell had no qualms chiding his party for its xenophobia, its aspersions it casts on Muslims, its racism, and much more. Eventually, like so many principled former Republicans, he exited the Republican Party, leaving behind many formerly principled people within. So, in closing, what can we say of Powell, the morally sound leader? First, morally sound leaders confess their sins, for they are sinful like everybody else. We make mistakes. Powell offered full-throated declarations that he was wrong on that costly and ugly Iraq War. We are yet to hear this kind of confession from either the president or vice president of that administration, or the then CIA director who sat behind Powell in that United Nations summit, looking like he was very guilty of something. As well, the then Secretary of Defense has gone to his grave without any such confession. America recently spent nearly 6 years listening to a president who did many things wrong, some allegedly criminal and some sexual, and alleged frauds occasioning out-of-court settlements. A man who says he has never done a single thing wrong. Now, when public leaders never admit their sins, or lie about their misdeeds, or fabricate lies about others just to make themselves look good, they create a culture of lies, deception, and a universe of so-called alternate facts. That's evil, because it destroys lives and literally kills hundreds of thousands of people. Too many American politicians and so-called evangelists are enamored by this kind of wickedness. Second, morally sound leaders atone for their sins in service to others. Powell busily engaged himself in initiatives for at-risk children and global leadership among young adults. These not only enabled him to continue serving with honor and to develop leaders, which every true leader does, but they also seem to be Powell's attempt to atone for his mistakes. Third, morally sound leaders live within their abilities, limitations, and authentic selves. Powell declined to run for president. Everybody knows this. But although it's said that his wife Alma wanted no part of it, I suspect Powell believed his major and misleading role in the costly and unnecessary Iraq war had no place on a presidential resume. Now, what if people with defective resumes declined to run for president? And what would America and the world be like if voters dismissed presidential candidates with major blots on their resumes? Has not Powell left us an immense lesson here? Now, nobody's perfect, but we can learn from each other and reclaim a humankind and a world for far better than we're now headed. We shall be foolish not to imitate Colin Powell's leader qualities. I am Michael Friday, and your week just got better. I'll see you again next week. Happy Monday, all the way to Friday.